Yeah, like at times it comes down to government inefficiencies, because like when you now look at someone like Musk, you saw the thing that he now did when he got that particular booster with some
This, the catching of the boosters.
sure. Yeah, so like I think it comes down to government inefficiencies. Yeah, because like I think there was this particular peer story. Like for them it's to just know, oh, okay, like what's the price that we're supposed to pay. Then it's just the check. Like there's no form of like hakuna kupia negotiate at all. Hakuna kutafuta the best people. Kuna bureaucracy mingi basically
Going on,
yeah, sure. Like it's just like a public peer hospital. You can go find a new machine, but it will still be the same service. Yeah, but I think after some time it might like become better. Yeah, because like when you are putting in money for the next 10, 15, 20 peer years, yeah, like Konza might be so big. But now the question comes, once 2030 comes, then it's okay, like, tumeshafika hapa, but it's still not here. Will you still put in money?
I think this is where we now need to look forward to new technologies in terms of evaluation. There's so many products how many places that have come, and for instance, data analytics can be used to analyze so many things in terms of decision making and going forward, because we already have a pool of information to pick up from. So going forward, instead of just deciding on, okay, this is the project we want to do, let's do it. You can go back and check on how successful these projects have been in the past, what they actually meant, and who.
There was a city in South Korea which followed the same model. Yeah. Okay, but for myself, I think that my biggest concern, we try to support most of these companies, Konza, but then when they buy their tech, it's fully from outside countries. You see, they don't want to promote Kenyan companies at all. Yeah, because
so that's a challenge that SMEs face.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Is it a challenge that you have faced as Proxima as well?
So much. Okay, so I once went into a meeting with someone, and I'm saying, okay, the person alikuwa na so many peer connections with some people, but then the person is saying, okay, if you are to now move forward, we will white label it as a peer product. Okay, so we are basically we are not basically selling, but we are selling with a now different name. Yeah, because the company is still small. But I now told them, upon that will now be under mining
the value, whatever.
Yeah, the value, the company's peer image, branding. Yeah. So I simply upon told him no. Yeah, so I think that's a very, very big problem, to be honest.
Yeah.
The level of trust being given to small companies. Okay, for Kenyan companies, you could build a plane, but you say a plane that's flying.
Yeah.
But they say, you are not
good. Yeah. So okay. So we live in it's a shark tank out here,
for sure.
And you find a lot of big businesses them themselves are struggling to find innovations, right?
Yeah.
And within themselves, they can't innovate new ideas.
Yeah, for sure,
but when it comes to small companies are actually offering those innovations.
So fast to innovate.
So fast to innovate.
Yeah.
And this company is actually trying to be kind of cannibalistic towards small companies, which is actually I know that's the business environment. People make decisions on the business sense,
sure.
But sometimes also you have to look at the value that your company is offering, even if it's a small company. There's so much effort individual co-founders, individual contributors have put in each effort, and sometimes it's not about just a yes, but it's about getting into the room, and it's not about you accepting my product, but you just listening and the value, instead of come and tripping down and trying to. So it's a challenge for SMEs as well.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
No, honestly, I want to be the devil's advocate for a minute here, and you're having a conversation with someone who's working for these international donors, right? They're talking about SMEs and especially in the Kenyan space, and they're talking about how for them it's very hard for this particular organization to fund SMEs because when they get to the ground, everyone goes through the paperwork, it looks good. But when they go to see what is actually happening on the ground, there's a lot of, they don't see the value they don't see how the value in the product, or they find they're being shortchanged. I'm not saying this is for all SMEs. What I'm trying to say is that you find that also you have the extremes, right? So you have certain SMEs that are out here, you know, making it seem like other SMEs are not being, they cannot invest in them. So what I'm saying is, I think probably it might take some time for people to understand or to see that this is not all SMEs, like for this specific organization. You find out they're very skeptical. But that's not to say that there is no value. There is a lot of value, but that is something also to think about.
For sure. Okay, so like myself, I can say that at some point with the inception of the company, like I was a bit guilty of that, you see. Because like when you start a company, like number one, it's coming up with a peer proof of concept. So like you might take something to the market, at times just to verify that peer it's a viable thing. So like I think that's, okay, like I think the main concern there, like they're trying to now invest in some companies when they're just peer starting, so like when there's no peer proof of concept. Because so like if I consider the journey that Proxima Peer has taken up to now, because like, okay, like for me it's been bootstrapping for the better part, but I don't think at some point somebody could have given me like 30 shillings to go build the company. Because like the concept was still raw, like things were still coming up. But then when I talk to so many people, like so many people are building good things. But it just depends on now peer on the stage. Because like one of the most difficult things is something called product market fit. Like it's so difficult. Like I once worked in a company for my internship, like whereby they spent so much money to come to product market fit. Like they were just pouring money on marketing. Like like in a certain meeting, like I went and then the CEO says, oh, like we've poured in 10 million in marketing. And then I say, I think it's time for me to get for a peer raise. But I think then, like so many people do have some big expectations. Like someone will come with some small money, but they want you to be at the same peer level, like a company like which has been there for like peer 2 years, 3 years. So like it depends on their peer expectations.
So I can add maybe there's also a little bit of trust there's a lot of trust that is lacking, and so for someone to actually invest in you, there's also that bit of luck and trust.
For sure. Then for someone starting, like the source of capital, okay, like it across some of peer limited, like especially when you've not built a name. Like because someone like Musk can go say, guys, just give me money. I don't know what I'm peer going to build, but you just give me money. You see? But also like for someone like peer whom is peer starting, like for me, I think the best thing is to try to bootstrap as much as possible. For that first phase, for the first version of the peer product.
For as long as it's needed.
For sure. Then okay, like for myself, I'm not so big on peer asking for money from peer outside. Because like someone will come in and they want to change the face of the company.
Expectations.
They want to expectations. Then unapoteza some form of control in terms of like what you're doing. Because like at the end of the day, when you start a company, like you don't even start with the peer product itself. Like you start a company based on a certain mission, based on something that you want to be done. Then like based on the way the market peer acts, based on the way things move, like you're now be able to come up with a certain peer product that will now basically serve the mission of the company. Because like the mission will be the most important thing. Like I was having a discussion with one of my friends, I think last year, and he wanted to build something, but I told him, okay, like you might focus on building the product so much, but try build the company too. Because like for myself, I simply had that challenge at first, whereby like I come, when I go see someone, I don't even tell them the name of the company. I just say, okay, like, hey, my name is Beckham, blah, blah, blah. Can I show you this?
Okay, so who's this? Who are you? Yeah, so they probably think you're representative of someone else.
Yeah, sure.
But it's a challenge that a lot of founders are actually facing. I for one, something I've faced as well, trying to, there's always that proof of concept, and also, trying to, a new idea is always as good as how someone understands it,
For sure.
And you find that not everyone is actually willing to look at it from that angle that you're looking at it from. So from a personal perspective, it needs founders and creators to actually try and bridge so many gaps. For instance, if you're someone who is looking for funding through VCs and banking or anything, I think you should align the goal to whatever they're looking for. And also you find that most VCs and most are investing in fintech. And that majority of the companies that are actually being funded in Kenya are in financial technology, right?
For sure.
And now a different business, now you have to model it. You don't have to look for someone who is actually a VC who is focused on fintech. If you're going to bootstrap for the major part of the time, you need to work on the product as well as the image as well, and whatever you're working for. But also sometimes you find people don't want to talk about the product they're building. Because as I said, we live in a cannibalistic environment. But for me, I'm a believer of putting yourself out there and just letting people know what you're doing. And anytime, you might not have the product at that moment, but the concept and the idea, it gets you to build the product continuously, because you can't, for you to get a product to the market, it has to be market ready, It has to meet so many requirements. You have to do a lot of research. You have to do a lot of research. You have to talk to a lot of people. And you have to also check if it's sellable again. So if it doesn't meet that criteria at that moment, there's no need for rushing it into the market. But also you can actually venture out and look for other products and other customers outside of Kenya. If the market is not ready in Kenya, you can sell it globally.
The market is so big. Then I think one of the major troubles that most of now SMEs face is the cost of innovation. Because I think innovation is a bit pricey. Especially when you consider when you now want to build something, basically you must have the spare parts, whether it's a mechanical thing for yourself, if you wanted to build something for yourself, like a supercharger, that's a very big cost. So I'm thinking, is there a way that you can speed up innovation, for it to become a bit more cheaper, and for now SMEs to basically manage?
That's a tricky question. Interesting. Now, there's no price. The price for innovation is actually high, and when you start, for the first times you start, you think it's not gonna be quite a lot, and then you start, then you realize there's so much you do, because there's the ideation period is usually more of a honeymoon phase. Now, the more you get into the project, the more you get into the work, you notice you need a lot of people, be it in terms of engineers, the actual research that you need to do, and you also need a lot to do. From my perspective is you actually have to look within your pool of networks. If you can actually get talent or anything from your networks, it actually gives you a leeway to maneuver the cost, because you're much able to convince people. And it's easier for you to engage in talent that actually believes in you. And also, there's also a lot of resource sharing in terms of information. And because if you're alone and you want to make everything work, you notice that there's so many gaps. But the moment you get into your networks, you notice people start even reaching out. Someone reaches, I saw you did this, and I am interested in this as well.
It is free marketing and
free relation as well. And every time someone does that, you get a new idea, you get a new insight. And for me, that's a way for me to bridge that gap in terms of the cost of innovation.
Okay, so for myself, I think maybe one of the best things is to now exchange skills for peer skills. Because when I first of all started, the capital was now not there to make a town. And basically now you have to do some few things just for you to go to the next level. And for me myself, my skill was to build software. So I will go to someone and say, okay, we are very good at doing peer branding. Do some branding for me, logo, the full scope of the company. I think the first time there was like these two beautiful people. So like I went and I said, okay, like I want you guys to build this, to build now here these things for me. The frame of the company should be like a bit masculine. Okay, like just me being in med. Okay, just seems like what I want. But then with the peer skills, they say, okay, like no, this company, the frame should not be pure masculine. The frame should be like more of a peer caregiver. Yeah, because like we basically want to take some aspect of the peer business from you, so that we can now take care of it. And then the second time was me going to a friend of mine, lawyer, and I said, okay, like let's just do some few peer legal things for me. Then I will do some software things for you. And I think like that was a bit good because like I now don't have to pay for things.
At the initial start, right?
Sure. Then for the tech bit, okay, like I think so many people underestimate the cost of building a software product.
Exactly. Yeah. So the honeymoon phase in Aishanga Mapema, then you notice there's so much you need to do.
Yeah, sure. Like myself, I think there was a time with the team where it was some different people. Ken was there. So like we know that the thing was done. Then we said, okay, like, guys, just one weekend to sacrifice so that you can finish the product. So we took a breaker. So like it was just the guys. Most of the girlfriends were like habituated at you, like Nikas getting.
None of it wapitia. It's actually busy.
But we just want to build software. So like we went there. We go there to like something like I think something like 7 Friday journey. We put up our desktop. There was some food. There was some whiskey, music. Just work as you like go through the phase. We did work up to something like I think 4. Went to sleep, woke up at 7, 8, went for a walk, came back, worked until journey, did the same, and then just like Sunday to come the following day. Then when we come back on Monday, I'm like, hey, you have to all that work.
But it was a learning process.
So much. But then like I think it's like one of those things that pairs in a build peer character. Because like number one, so like there were these people like who believed in like whatever tulikuwa tunafanya so much that they are willing to sacrifice their weekends, they are willing to go through so much pain, which I think like so many people don't want to do like in this phase of a PSME because some like peer at times like you don't have the big marketing budget. At times like the marketing
not even operational budget itself, you know. Because there's so much. But I believe if you can actually tap into a pool of talent that is around you, you can offer them various solutions. For me, I feel like you can actually have sometimes of a vested interest in terms of the effort the person puts into the company, into the project, and you just make it clear. And you just make it clear in terms of writing, in terms of everything. But I've also had parts where people dropped out of projects that we started, and they saw the project progress, then they wanted to come back. And it was one of those things. I'm like, no, you need to believe in the idea, because personally, the amount of sacrifices that people take to actually do some things is actually immense. And so the best thing you can actually give someone of this sort is the belief. And another thing that gives founders and people, initial founders of a project, much happiness is if they're able to convince someone, and this someone else shows so much enthusiasm into their own project, then you start questioning yourself. You're like, this guy and mini kitu sana, and now I have to do it. And it's so encouraging when someone gives you that moment. It's one of those things I really like about that.
If I may add something, on a more corporate level, from a point of view, I think there also needs to be a budget for innovation. And why I'm saying this is because ideas will always come. There'll always be something new that you want to try, something interesting, something you want to invest in. But you need to have a sustainable budget for that. That is something people don't think about a lot. Another unpopular opinion is, how is this innovation going to earn you money? How is it going to earn you money? So, again, ideation, like Josh has said, it's really interesting, fun. But you also need to look at how does this generate income. So why are you innovating this? Is it just because you like it, you think it's a great idea? Or is there a customer or a client actually willing to pay for this? And how much are they going to pay for this? Because at the end of the day, you need to prioritize. And if innovation may be good, but if it does not, if you don't see it, you need to just shelf it and wait until you have grown to a certain level where you can have test labs and innovate at free will, because you already have enough income.
Okay, so like myself, like what I can say, okay, so like there's normally some like bring something like that will bring some money, but at the same time, it's like it's something that you also love. As well as it's maybe about okay, like it's just basically putting your priority straight. Like, because like Pierre was okay, like when we have built something that we think is now mature, like we start experimenting with like more things that will still bring value here, and then like we have been working on something which I'm hoping by December itakuwa tayari. And so like basically when you call akina Safaricom call, like it takes so much time for them to pick up your call. But you see, like as part of our innovations, like what we want to do, we want to come up with an assistant that can do peer calls, make sure that the peer latency is
low.
Low. Because like we do have something, but it's still not perfect. So like there's a way that you can do things like for the foreseeable future, in a way that you balance, say like between you peer loving it here. Because like for myself, like I'm truly looking forward to like that particular thing. Okay, like to basically be able to build it. So like I might spend some time doing it, but then at the end of the day, okay, like once it works out fine, it can bring about some very good money. Like especially like when we build the software well.
Yeah, I believe so. And sustainability is a very huge concern. You find that a lot of people we have more implementers than more enablers. So a lot of people in this field are, what do I need to do? But it takes a lot of gut to actually say, I need to do this, being told, and actually lead from a founder's perspective, in this case, Beckham, because there's so much expectation, and with that comes the issue of sustainability, because at the start, you're thinking of an idea that you need to see it through to maturity, but there's so many gaps in between these periods, because you have to think of the future. How am I going to price this product? How am I going to manage the marketing budget? How am I going to manage this team? So a lot of founders actually have a lot of work to do in terms of managing everything. So it actually helps to work with a team that is passionate about the project itself. So if they're able to self-manage themselves in one area or the other, it actually gives you so much time to focus on so many things. And the issue of sustainability now becomes your own issue. Now you can plan for it. Now we can say we are going to develop this up to this stage, and we are going to review it at this moment, and we know what happens. Then we follow through to the next stage and everything. So just for me, the advice I'd say is taking things step by step, knowing where you want to be in terms of when is this product ready. Because the product is not always ready when you think it's ready, probably. Because you'd think it's ready, then you do something, then you get a new idea, you get something a new innovation that actually makes it better. So just testing, running it, stage A, stage B, up to the point you feel it's ready for that. And also there's so much drought in between in these terms, in terms of the funding, and if it's something that you're doing on your own, as a lot of people bootstrapping, it's actually a hard thing. And so that's the most important thing, I think, is just having a team that actually can put in the work and look forward.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, then I think there's like one aspect. Okay, like for me, so like most of the things that I do, so like there's some aspect of me doing that particular thing. Like especially when it's somehow difficult, you see. So like there's that peer aspect, like there's a difficult thing that now appears to be done, and there are so many people don't want to do difficult things in the peer business, basically. So like it's the passion, love to do something, but again, something that can solve someone's peer problem. And then like one thing that most people assume that whenever you want to do some innovation, it will be like a smart thing automatically. Okay, like I think last year we spent so much time building a very, very good mobile application, but after it's done, someone just asked me one question. Okay, now you then now it's like the wires starting to
exactly. Now it's not novel.
Okay, so like at times it will peer misses hits, but if you want to have peer hits kill a time, okay, like in something like it's impossible. But then like for us, like the thing that we try to do, like when you build that backend, like we build a very, very good flexible backend.
Yeah.
Meaning that once we've built a very, very good flexible backend, so like we can build things on top. So like when you have something else to do, so like there is not so much to do, so like in terms of building up the entire structure, because there's a very solid base. Like for the Tesla bot, the one, I think it's called Optimus, inatumia battery, normal, the cameras. So like most of those components like are coming from the peer product.
Yeah.
So like for ourselves, so like okay, like for the software, because like for now we do have different ones. It's the same APIs for authentication. Like it's basically the same APIs.
Yeah, it's very redundant.
Yeah. So like there's that aspect of peer, let me say product peer architecture.
Yeah.
Like you saying, like you saying, we need to build some like a very good base so that when you want to now innovate, some like it's just building things on top. And I think I think that last year this shift came to me that at the end of the day, like you don't want to build a product, you want to build
an ecosystem.
Yeah, because like once you build an ecosystem, like it's much more simpler to innovate in a peer ecosystem. Okay, like for me, it's like in management basically, like there are two principles like that. Okay, like my first two principles. The first one is vertical integration. Yeah, because like it minimizes cost so much. Like from now, we do want this particular camera, we do want this particular light. If we wanted to do this podcast today, we would have gone to peer hire. Someone says, okay, like please give us 4K, give us 2K for the lights. Okay, like now we don't have to pay for that. We can now bring in content like very fast, high peer quality. Then the second thing is first principles. Like first principles thinking. So like with first principles thinking, basically, like it's solving problems in a very unique way. So like you don't reason by analogy. You see, like you question some like the way things are being done. You see like whether it's optimal. Then of course based on like the love of the product, you can see the way I can Steve Jobs, Musk, like Tesla wanted to like a very big marketing budget because for them they spend so much of their money in Tesla R&D. So like their main goal is to simply make sure that the product is
good.
Like so good. Yeah. Have you just read Peter Thiel's book 0 to 1?
No, but it's on my list.
I like it. It's a very, very good book. So like I think I've now done it twice. So it's like 0 to 1 basically. So like it's a step-by-step process like of building something like in a very different way, like that is not normal to like so many people. So like I think one of the I think it's 4 things. One of the things is peer network effects, and you will get utapata network effects just when your product is so good. Yeah, but I'm guilty for not focusing so much on marketing. That's why I'll be great for the rest of it.
Yeah, the one. A lot of people, it's either you choose where you want to focus. Do you want to market something? Then when the product comes, you get bad reviews. Or do you want to focus on building a product good enough to sell itself?
Yeah.
So I think I'd prefer the latter, where the product is actually good enough because you've actually taken your time to make sure that this product actually market ready. You're not making stuff up, because you end up, when you are sitting in a room as an ecosystem, we mentioned an ecosystem, and we are building something. Then we don't engage people outside who have nothing in relation to whatever we're building. You won't understand. the needs. You would be operating from sort of a high table where I'm building this stuff and you need to use it, you know, because I know your needs. It doesn't work like that because there's so much. A lot of people, you might focus on the innovation aspect, marketing, but the customer experience is shitty.
It's so bad.
So how people interact with the product is as different from what you thought.
Yeah, for sure. Go on.
So, like, again, so many things you've mentioned, I think, come together really nicely. So we're going to take it back a little bit, but then I'll come back to where we are. When you talked about as founders wanting to innovate, love for the product, and he talked about having the right team. And I feel like there are certain team members that are very key, especially for a growing SME. In this case, you need to have someone who will ask the whys.
Yeah, for sure.
Why are we building this like this? Why are we paying 2K for the camera and the lights, right?
You don't need yes men.
Yes, you don't need yes men. You want someone who is going to question and to tell you, no, like, Misawa, you're the founder, but let's not do that, okay? Let's do this instead. Number two, you need to have a very good testing team. And if you cannot be able to have that as part of your primary team, then find that, you know, do a joint partnership with someone else. But the thing with testing, I know you've seen all these memes about the user, the developer, and the designer. And the designer is like, the user is going to understand, but then the user does something completely unexpected. So again, it needs to a lot of tech startups want to do the testing among themselves, among the developers and people who actually understand the product. Take it out there, see how people are responding to it, and take that feedback to improve. And I feel like this process also should not be very shortened. I feel like that's a real gap where people want to prove that the product works. No, let someone show you it doesn't work. And take that positively to now build what works.
I know this might sound unconventional to many, but one of the things I find actually good, apart from just using talking to the users or finding whatever happens, is actually looking at what the industry is doing, what our competitors are doing. You know, just getting their strength. After doing a proper SWOT analysis, you get to understand, especially the part of the threats and opportunities. You start to see from a different angle, because if for instance I have a company A and B, and B is doing something almost similar to A, and we have almost the same use case and almost the same customers, and we offer two different products, right? But the moment I can actually review your business plan, I review what you're doing, I can actually get a way to improve my product, because it might not be in the same customer segment per se, but we have so many similarities, and it's good. That's why a lot of companies, even banks, invest in the market. You know, we hear a lot of espionage going on. A lot of people just invest to know. A lot of people just want to know what's happening, what the competition is doing. So just following. You know, a lot of people don't want to follow competition. You know, it's like, I was saying, I don't like them. But you don't have to like your enemy. You have to study your enemy, and it's better to understand them than not to understand them.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so like myself, like when I first of all peer started, so like my timetable basically peer was, I build from in the morning, then in the Saturday afternoon, I bought the super metro, I go to town, laptop in the back, then I just go to kill up early. Schools, banks, like just kill up early. Like at some point I found myself in a bookshop, I found myself with someone selling curtains in PCBD. Just to try peer and know, like, like whether there is a peer gap. And then like the best way you can find ways of peer improving your own peer products. Like it is by peer shared to so many people. Like it's peer to like people when you are peer qualified in a way. Like for myself, I showed this. I think the guy was a friend of my dad, and then the guy was not from West Africa. Like at times the comments are a bit painful because it's like, hey, man,
Saite tumikaje.
Like because like one thing that we try mistake is that when you spend so much effort on something, then automatically it's a beautiful thing. Like you might find you've built something with so much effort, but the face value in it is some polishing. So like when the person comes, like for them they are now simply seeing this particular face that is just bad. Yeah, but it takes some time. Like basically in terms of now making sure that someone handles like your peer product fully. Because like for myself, to be honest, I'm like I can say I might struggle to use Instagram. Like I think it was yesterday. Like I wanted to see one of my contacts Instagram profile. Not that I'm a stalker, just something to do for text. But I wanted to see the profile. And I was like on that for like 3 minutes. And I said, no, like it's a difficult thing. So like in terms of that, then some, like when you build something for professionals, like some things will just look complex to some people. So like as much as you are testing, the right people don't want to test like what do it like the product is for you. So like I'm testing it with you, like not with somebody like now is not the target market for it.
Now I've heard you mention something interesting about feedback, and I really feel bad. So I just want to understand what's your process in terms of how you handle this feedback in terms of, be it positive or negative, but heavy emphasis on the negative.
Okay, so
because
like,
good.
Okay, so like if you tell me like a bad feedback, okay, like not a bad feedback, so like something that the product is now not doing well, I'll have this 5 minutes of feeling sad, then from there it's still like yeah, because okay, like it's it's a combination of that feedback that has made us improve the product so much. Like when someone says something so smart, like I take note, because like it's basically someone like free consulting. Like it's someone telling me, okay, like, hey, man, like you can improve. Because I mean, like so many people are on a different opinions, on a different perspective.